Alright guys, episode number 9 here of the series. This is going to be our last video on context, and we're not getting into any new information here, just hitting home and addressing some very key information that we've talked about so far. So if you guys find yourself still needing information and just a refresher on the hierarchy of the contextual tools that we use within our contextual analyses, or if you want a refresher on why it's important for us to be doing these contextual analyses in the first place, then go ahead and stick around with me till the end. If you guys have got those things squared away, then go ahead and move on to the next video. In the next video, we move on to the second core pillar, location, where we define supply and demand zones. So the inverse volatility index is our primary contextual instrument that we use. This is what we use to establish a directional bias within ES, and establishing that directional bias is always the first thing that we're looking to do. We want to understand if longs or shorts have a better edge in the market so that we can position ourselves with that flow. And so the VIX allows us to understand that, and that's why it's primary, and that's why it comes first before NQ and RSP. So NQ and RSP are secondary. They are used to monitor how supportive the tech sector, tech adjacent companies, and the overall broader market are of moves within ES. NQ and RSP are the most relevant when one of the two names or both names are exhibiting some sort of anomalistic behavior. So if one of them or both of them is super weak or super strong, that is going to be playing a more influential role in our own contextual analyses and in how we are approaching the market. Understand that we're just monitoring these two tools and you're not like incessantly watching them or anything like that. But yes, understand the hierarchy here. VIX comes first, then NQ and RSP. So before we move on to location, supply and demand, let's reiterate why being aware of market context is important in the first place. The reason for this is because the market environment is always changing. It is always in a perpetual state of motion and change, okay? So therefore, having this contextual filter and actually doing these contextual analyses is a non-negotiable. We have to be doing this. So by staying updated on changes of volatility, different volatility regimes, technology performance, market breadth, and other variables, other contextual variables like a higher time frame analysis or higher time frame positioning, scheduled news events, and areas where liquidity is concentrated or positioned within the market, so like a high volume node or a weekly high or yesterday's low, things of that nature. By monitoring these things, we are able to move with the market rather than being left behind. So that's why it's very important for us to be doing a contextual analysis. Most traders, most systems don't do that, and they're just not adaptable. Adaptability is arguably the most, well, in my opinion, the most important trait that a trader and their system must possess. So it's very critical for us to stay up to date with changes in market context. So now that you guys understand how to perform the contextual analysis as a result of watching and studying the previous videos, we can move on to the second pillar of the CLC system, which is location. If you guys are tied up on anything or just have any questions, always reach out to me. I'm always here for you guys to address your concerns with anything, but more specifically with the contextual analysis. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to location, defining supply and demand zones.